Hello and welcome to yourlocalnote.com. We've got another vidcast. We've got E. Joseph and the Sparrows with us. Can't wait to talk to EJ and Alan. They're going to be hanging out with us all night, and we're going to be playing music from their EP. It's a brand new EP, GloryGram, and this is a brand new group then, right?
Yeah. In fact, I guess I owe you in part some thanks, because when I've come in to member of other bands that have come in,
and you met other people,
and I wanted to get you interested in stuff that I was doing before.
Right.
It was like, hey, sorry, dude, it's only local, man.
Nice.
And so it's like, all right, I guess I got to put a band together so I can give RJ something. You know?
Okay. Well, you can compliment me more after the song. No, we'll talk more about how the band got together, which sounds pretty cool. All right, let's get everything started. The EP is GloryGram. The group is E. Joseph and the Sparrows. First song we're going to hear off the EP is Disingenuous on yourlocalnote.com.
Ever gonna change? People getting high, just shooting at the sky, taking photographs and videos. What the hell, heaven knows. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. So sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Say hold on to what you've got, but what if your hands are empty?
The song is Disingenuous from the EP GloryGram, and we're hanging with the band E. Joseph and the Sparrows. Actually, it's EJ and Alan. And
One Sparrow.
But at some point, we have to pass along what we were talking about while the song was playing, because there is some educational information there that I think is important.
Sure. Well,
so we'll get to it. I'll figure out a way to segue into it.
It's all on you.
Okay. Why don't you guys just introduce yourself real quickly and what you do with the band?
Yeah, I'm EJ. I play guitar and sing, and that guy over there is
I'm Alan, and I play bass primarily, but am a blossoming backup singer.
Okay, nice. And a shout out to who's missing.
Oh, and to Ed number 2.
Ed 2.
Ed 2.
We call him Ed 2. Ed Galang, who's our drummer.
Okay.
Also important to mention, not only is he a blossoming, what were you blossoming at?
Backup singer.
Backup singer. Alan also mixed the EP.
Oh, well, yes, because you do that with
Wooden Hez as
Wooden
well.
Hez, yes. And so let's get into this song, Disingenuous. EJ, who wrote this? Is this a collaborative effort, or is this something that you're doing?
I kind of write this. I write the songs and come in with somewhat of a structure,
Right.
and then we bash the crap out of it in rehearsal, and everybody then takes ownership of their part, what they bring to it. Sometimes the arrangement changes dramatically, sometimes not so much. Sometimes the arrangement changes even after Alan has a go at kind of like rearranging bits of it for the final mix.
Okay. One thing I'm really curious about, you have and we've had you in the studio a number of times. You've been with the different bands and stuff like that, and you've always been the guy who just goes along. Now you're leading a band. How does that feel? And is this something that you decided, you know what, I want to be in charge now?
Well, I like both. It's funny because I like both worlds. I do. But when because I'm a transplant, I'm a Philadelphia transplant. So when I came here, you're a songwriter with no band.
Right.
So, but it was important. I still wanted to play. So the time that I spent with Wooden Hez was really fantastic because there is a part of me that, as much as I like being the singer and the guy that's kind of like, I'm going to sing, I'm going to play the guitar, there's also that part of me that would love to get away from doing that and focus on, my effects and playing some intricate things that I couldn't play if I'm singing. And so there's two worlds.
Right.
And I like this role, but I also like being the side guy or the guy like maybe like the Johnny Greenwood guy, in the Radiohead environment. That's like, I just want to make some interesting things happen,
right,
and not front anything.
And that happens often.
Yeah.
Where people will be in different parts. Now, you seem to always be in the supporting role.
I've really hit a sweet spot.
Yeah. Is this something you're comfortable with?
Yeah, it definitely started with Dave Patone and Wooden Hez. There's just something that works really well, especially coming out from a bass player kind of oriented background, is finding a singer, songwriter, someone who, maybe the most material's written either acoustically or acoustic-mindedly, and then taking that material and working with them to make something larger and more rock band oriented. Because
you do a lot of recording.
Yeah.
So you've taken the steps that way to make yourself very valuable.
It's true.
So it's not just I'm a second banana. It's I'm an integral part of what's going on, but you're not the lead.
Right.
I look at Alan. It's really funny. I always joke around like kind of like the Paul Schaefer type of thing. It's like I look at Alan as
better hair,
much.
For now,
and better jokes too.
Okay, yes, he is funnier. Yes, absolutely.
And I can't play keys.
It's
not yet.
Yeah, it's a very dry sense of humor, but he's very good at it.
Yeah, but the cool thing is like kind of like almost in a music director role.
Yeah,
and feeling like, okay, I'm the leader de facto,
right,
for what that means, but a lot of what we do, take nothing, a lot of what we do does not happen if he doesn't do what he does, if he doesn't think outside of the structure of the song, if he doesn't go, well, it's like, well, what are you playing there? It's like, well, what if I take that part that I do when we're playing this other section of chords, but I actually replicate that now we're doing, and then we do that in rehearsal, and only an arranger or a music director would think that way.
Right.
And so that's, like it or not, that's a role that I love that Alan does.
I think growing up, it was like the idea of a record producer, which kind of in a lot of ways has gone away. The collaborative idea of like the concept of an album
is
a little bit broken down, but like growing up, like a Rick Rubin type was definitely an idol to me.
Okay.
So I like that approach. I like being able to think about, structure and like what kind of story we're telling, even just instrumentally with a song. So I guess that's where my head's at.
Okay, very cool. We're going to continue this conversation after we play the song Antenna. Now, this is not on the EP GloryGram. This is actually a solo project.
Yeah, this is this song actually goes back to maybe 05,
okay.
04, 05.
We'll play it. We'll talk a little bit about it, but then we'll get back. We're back to thanks, CJ. And we'll get back to talking about the band and how you guys got together and all that other good stuff. The EP again is GloryGram. This song is not on GloryGram, but we're hanging out with E. Joseph and the Sparrows. This song is called Antenna on yourlocalnote.com.
To remain omnipresent, I need an appetite suppressant, just like you. Need one too. Subtleties travel so far, flying in under radar, receiving loud and clear like an antenna. And when they say I don't belong to me, I cancel that transmission. And when they say I don't belong to you, I cancel that transmission too. Gaining speed on the slow lane takes more time, but you regain perspective if you live like an antenna. And when they say I don't belong to me, I cancel that transmission. And when they say I don't belong to you, I cancel that transmission too. Cancel that transmission. I cancel that transmission. I cancel that transmission. Cancel that transmission. I cancel that transmission. I cancel that transmission. Cancel that transmission. I cancel that transmission. Cancel. I cancel that transmission.
Song is called Antenna, and that's from EJ's. It's a solo project.
Yeah, it was a solo project I did back in, 04, 05, a record called Absinthe Minded. And so I had various friends come in and play parts, and that at least set the stage for me going, I think I can be this E. Joseph thing.
Right.
And so here we are now, 10, 11 years down the road, and finally with some people I like being with.
That was very sweet of you to say.
Oh, well, I'll say
Do you
something.
feel that your background as being part of a band and not a leader of the band has helped you with your two bandmates right now, because you are very familiar with their positions, And does that make you? Are you consciously going, I got to make sure these guys feel that they're part?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also it also became a maturity issue because
I don't like using that word.
Adulting sucks. We all agree, adulting sucks.
Yes, yes. Growing old is not fun.
Nope. Growing in any way, shape, or form. I think you become an adult, you don't want to grow.
Yes.
But no, it also it's two things. It is being a either a hired hand or a member of a band that you don't lead, run. It's not your concept, and wanting to feel. I mean, I love being a team player because that's fun too.
Yeah.
The very fact that the way that Alan and I springboard off of one another is a direct result of us having played together in Woodenheads. Right. And the same thing in that matter for it, and wanting to be inclusive, but also getting to the point where you handpick people that you want to play with because you like their company,
right,
and you like being around them.
Chemistry is huge. I'm a big sports fan, and I played sports in high school and college. And, my senior year, I played lacrosse. We had terrible chemistry. The year before we win our division, the next year we're the worst in the division. And we had more talent than the year before. And it was because the chemistry was awful. We didn't like each other. And I see that the same thing with a band. If you don't like each other, there's no way you can have creative juices flowing and collaborating on some great music. I mean, if you're sitting there going, yeah, I really don't like this, you're going to hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a really strange kind of organization to work at or run a band because it's part like these people are my business partners. Like we're running a business entity.
Right.
It's part we're like spending a lot of time together. So I have to be like friends with them in some way. And then there's also this like this project element where we have to get work done. We have to prepare to either perform or record. So there's a lot of things to juggle, and it's a combination of all the other types of relationships that you deal with in your life.
It's a tough balancing act.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than your musical family being dysfunctional.
Yeah,
because life in itself has its challenges. Just waking up and getting through a day has its inherent challenges. The last thing you want to do in the case of us day jobbers and all of that stuff too, is to have to bust your hump all day and then race down the Schuylkill to get to rehearsal to spend 2-3 hours with people you just can't stand being around.
That would be very
That's
difficult.
the worst.
Well, and the other thing is that the lifeblood of any type of relationship is good, solid communication. And if you get in a room with 3 guys, in general, we're not going to, even if we like each other, the first thing we want to do is not talk about our relationship or our business.
Yeah, no.
Or our projects.
We don't communicate well to begin with.
We just want to hang out.
Yeah.
Grunt.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if it's someone you don't even want to put the effort towards, then it's even worse. It's even harder to maintain that.
Very interesting. We've talked about this before. Actually, you know what I didn't do? And this is a horrible segue, but we're going to do this.
You teased it.
This is known as the bulldozer segue.
Yeah, this is, I'm just plowing through.
Today's sponsor.
We had an educational moment during Disingenuous. Mike was filling us in on a very good hangover cure, Pedialyte.
Yes.
That's
It's not a hangover cure. It's a hangover
prevention.
So you
drink it.
Hydrate before you electrolyte and hydrate before you go to bed.
Before you pass out. That's the strategy.
Before you pass out. Okay.
That should be on the bottle.
The more you know.
Yes,
Pedialyte before you pass out.
And then Alan took it even a step further on the street level to say that Pedialyte is the choice of heroin addicts.
Absolutely.
Because they can get their nutrition without having to eat.
All that wasteful chewing.
See what we bring to the table here.
Your local healthcare.
Dropping knowledge bombs.
Well, I just felt while we were having the discussion during Disingenuous, I'm like, we gotta have this out there.
You got to give it to the people.
It's
Can't waste that gold.
I mean,
You gotta give it to the people.
it was great information, Alan. I was like, I've learned something. And
Alan's got my vote for president. That's it.
I'll put Pete Light in every home.
Very nice. Okay, so let's go on to song number 3. A blessing and a curse.
Yes.
I think this is a good segue.
There you go.
Because tonight is a blessing and a curse as far as I'm concerned.
So far, so. I don't know.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about, but I do want, because I love the insight you guys provide. You've been in the industry and in this area for a while, and I want to talk about the bigger picture of what's going on with music. I think it's an important thing. So we're going to play A Blessing and a Curse, and we'll be back to talk more music with EJ and Alan from E. Joseph and the Sparrows. And their EP is GloryGram on yourlocalnote.com.
Sometimes the lights downtown, they get kind of blurry. And I'm just sitting still, and I'm still in a hurry. I never thought I would fight, but try to stand up right. These are the days nobody says I'm sorry. Sometimes I look pretty good when I close my eyes. I think you look good too in your favorite disguise. I never thought I would think, don't need another drink. These are the days when the truth is built for lies. These are the days when the truth is built from lies. Sometimes I shake my head and things fall out. I'm not embarrassed, but at times it draws a crowd. I guess it is what it is. Suppose it could be worse. These are the days when everything's a blessing and a curse. These are the days when everything's a blessing and a curse. 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 A blessing and a
The song is called A Blessing and a Curse off the EP, GloryGram. We're hanging with E. Joseph and the Sparrows. EJ and Alan are kind enough to spend some time with us. We appreciate that.
We do too.
So with this song, A Blessing and a Curse, again, is it something that's very collaborative with you guys? I mean, did you come in with the idea, EJ, and then let the guys work with it?
Yeah, it was really kind of funny. That song in particular was, I think, was that the first one that you started mixing, Alan?
Yes.
I think it was the first one. So the original demo of that song was this drum machine that built in one of my keyboard type things and type of thing, and just this bom 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 type of riff, and singing these lyrics that I think in a way to me kind of always reminded me of like a Mike Doughty song.
Okay.
Mike Doughty?
Doughty.
Nope.
Soul coughing dude.
No idea.
Okay. So kind of reminded, I mean, the way the phrasing was going kind of reminded me of like a Mike Doughty song. And, but the riff kind of like bore some resemblance to something that was maybe Beckish.
Okay.
And so when it comes to all things Beck and making sure that we're not in ripoff territory, we consult him.
The Beckspert.
The Beck. Man.
I mean, off the
feels
nice.
good.
You've got a career in radio. I don't know if
I
you
think
know
so.
this.
Yes, he does.
Unfortunately, there is no radio anymore.
Well, that's a whole nother story. But he does have a future.
Yeah. So it was kind of the song was constructed, but then Alan just completely. It's like it's the layers. Again, it wasn't like layers to make layers. Just
right.
Just as like we have an infinite number of tracks. It was about how can we add tasty things to this, and then even after we had recorded it, the actual recording, and Alan did the first 1 or 2 or 3 mixes. I then said, this needs. I'm hearing a keyboard part thing, kind of like one of those Farfisa type organ type things. It sounds kind of like 60s psychedelic type of thing. And so I'm creating that in the bedroom and then sending it to Alan, and he's flying it in after we've already left the studio. And so the collaborative process then
just is ongoing.
Yeah, because I don't come up with that. I don't come up with a keyboard part if Alan doesn't start creating the first mixes and chopping some things and choking the song here or there to make other things stand out. And so, yeah, it's still the collaborative process. The song is still, I think the song is still evolving. Because there are things we're doing in a live setting now.
It's different.
Not necessarily different, but there's a different vibe going for a certain part that's
right.
Like you just want to like, he does something, the studio track does something, and it's like, so I just want to lay out now.
Okay.
I don't want to play or anything.
I'm getting the impression, and tell me if I'm wrong, that the music part of your song is the most. I don't want to say most important, but gets done first.
Yeah,
and then the lyrics follow.
Yeah, traditionally, and it happens different ways. Sometimes the lyrics come like avalanche style.
Right.
You get like that one line, and then you just start building all over that one line, and that song kind of was the byproduct of that. But then other songs like there's a song that we do called Conspire, where those lyrics, the second verse was painful.
Okay. Was it a personal
No. I don't mean
No?
painful. I mean, it was painful trying to like
just put it together.
To put it together so that it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like, any monkey can rhyme.
Right.
I don't want to rhyme to, rhyming comes easily to me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and
I didn't want to go there.
And there are some songs where you can hear that they just use the words because the rhyme was there, and I think it really takes away from the song if that stands out.
Yeah,
and
or like you can kind of guess what the second line's going to be.
Yeah, and it's like really
that's the worst.
They're like set it. You can tell they set up their own.
Yeah, and I try not to be a music critic because I believe.
It's really easy. You should try it.
With a little bit of Pedialyte.
I'm sure if I had some Jack Daniels, I'd be a great critic. I think music is very subjective, and I don't want to get into being a critic. I mean, I know how hard musicians work, and I know how much time they put into it. And I like to be a promoter. I like to be. This place is a place for people to promote their music, and
it's
to
a
get it
safe
exposed.
zone.
I don't want to go there. No. It's not a safe zone. We don't do safe zone.
Do you have any safety words for tonight? Ouch, my hair.
Ouch, my hair. Pedialyte.
Oh, Pedialyte. That's our safe word.
Nice. Okay. So, okay, now you've thrown me off. Now I don't
Sorry
know.
about that. You're talking about being a critic and not being a critic,
Right,
actually.
but I'm
because
just saying music is subjective. And
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think it's important that for us, we open it up to all different types of music. The thing I want to talk about with you guys, and it is music, and I'm always interested because you're playing with different bands. You know a ton of people in the industry, especially here in Philadelphia. We know there's a lot of talent here, but the music industry is struggling right now. It seems like there's the top echelon, and then everybody else, and there's no in between. Or if there is in between, it's very, very small.
Yeah.
And
they're like, even in Philadelphia, there are just thinking, all right, the 5 years I've been in Philadelphia, the venue turnover
yes,
has, don't do that. The venue turnover has been kind of places that I thought were rock solid. What? North Star, Dobbs. The list goes on. Venues that entertained having live music, put some space in to have bands. Bands were happy to come in and play. And then after one summer, it didn't work.
Right.
And
They've decided to go in a
it's like,
different direction.
We can sell more food and drinks in that space than we can having to try to pay musicians.
You have an EP. Is this something you'll stick with and not try to do an album?
Part of the impetus for the EP, that was my word on the calendar today.
Pedialyte?
It was Pedialyte, and then it was Impetus, sponsored by Pedialyte.
Impetus.
Okay, right.
Like that.
Love that game.
Was that we'd been playing for a little while, and people wanted our music, and we didn't have anything to give them. So we're like, we went and recorded 7 songs. We tracked them over one crazy weekend. And then we wanted to get something out as quick as we could. And from the timeline, it made sense to do the EP. And frankly, I don't have a terrible interest in going back to like a 10-song album format.
I don't either.
This is
not anymore.
This is something that I know there are some people we've talked to who are like absolutely adamant that we're going to do albums. That's what I want to do.
I love a good album. I enjoy the long format. I like being able to dig through someone's whole album, but it's not something that we need right now. It's not
I
something
think
that
the
works
consumer model has changed.
Yes.
Not to sound all professory, but the consumer model has changed.
Singles. It's a singles
absolutely.
world.
In fact, when Ed and Alan and I sat down after that crazy weekend of recording and banging out all the songs and multiple tracks and how many tracks can Ed sing and all of that nutty stuff, and came back and just had basically, all right, well, here's what we got, here's where we are, here's what the plan is, type of thing. And Ed spoke up and said, well, what, we're not putting it all out at one time? It's like, because that model's changed.
Yeah, I think every song you want to put out, it's got to be good or great.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be so happy with it and get them out one at a time so you can promote it, so you can play it and people can get to know it. It takes a while before people get to know songs. So I think it's an important thing to look at it. I know one band we've interviewed, and I think it's a good idea. We haven't talked to them in a while, but I think it's a good idea. A couple of years ago, they were putting out one song a month,
right?
And then at the end of the year, they put it all together.
It's a collection.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really tricky because with the 10-song format, your audience is being filtered by how they receive either your singles or the first 2 songs in the album. And if your singles, the first 2 songs of the album, don't hit with some people, that's the end of your relationship with them for a while.
But the thing is, if you're now just doing singles and you wait till the end of the year to put it all together, they're familiar with your music.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that what we did, I think what we did was in examining what our intent was that we split the difference between the album
Right.
and the album world and the singles once a month type of thing, because The Cure even did something like that where they were releasing one song a month for 12 months or something like that. And that was at the beginning of the model change.
Right.
And so what we thought was this way, if we could strike a chord and get some music in the hands of people that are asking for it, and also, give people a taste without making a firm commitment to buying a $15 or a $10 product, which we've already identified, people don't want to buy stuff anymore.
Right.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
We can go name your price if that's what you want on our Bandcamp page or something. And even then, we did all of that with GloryGram. We did all of that with the intention of not even getting it on iTunes or anything. That won't happen until the end of, probably to the middle or the end of April.
Okay.
Because so some of it is kind of like small market testing. We just did the New Jersey EP release show 2 months after we did the Philadelphia EP release show. And then when it's time to do the next EP, which oddly enough is also going to be called GloryGram.
Okay.
Keeping a theme. And I think that's a nice way to also be able to, work the same way that a band might do an album cycle where they're kind of got one vibe for the album. We can work through 7 or 10 songs in a
under GloryGram.
Yeah, in that kind of phase, and then but still keep the EP format, and then move on to
There's a lot of experimenting right now.
Yeah,
Alan was real smart, because when we had the 7, well, he was real smart. Remember,
way back when.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for the brilliance to. But when we had the 7 songs, Alan first said to me, "Is like, well, what do you want to do first? Which ones do we want to mix first?" And I said, "I don't know. What do you think all works well together?" And that's when he came with this concept of, well, these 3 feel like they could be part of that vibe.
Okay.
And not that the next group of songs don't feel like they're connected to that part of the vibe,
But not as much as those 3.
But now this group of songs feels like they'll work well together for this thing. So it's almost like, what color glasses do you view these songs with?
Right.
Type
Okay.
of thing. Because
Very good.
There's a song that's coming out on the next iteration that is clearly just like it has a dirgy, kind of like slow, grindy rock thing to it that probably wouldn't have fit well with these. But over the course of the collection, yeah, maybe it does.
Okay. You spoke about EP release parties. Playing live anywhere anytime soon?
Yeah, we're back at the scene of the crime, which for us is Connie's Rick Rack.
Okay.
Thanks, Ron.
Good people there.
Yeah, and I know guys like Jim Cunningham and those guys. They've been here doing it longer than we have, and but yeah, Connie's is kind of like home base for us.
Okay.
So we're there on the 25th of this month. And then we start, Alan goes away. He goes to places unknown.
Portugal.
Okay.
He doesn't know.
All right, so he knows.
He doesn't
now everybody knows.
We'll
figure it out
EJ
later.
is just still trying to figure out,
It's like,
where is Portugal on that
Where are you
map?
going, man? It's like my GPS. I have an old GPS. It doesn't have Portugal on it. But so Alan's gone away for almost a month, and then when we get back, then we're going to do some out of town stuff in Baltimore and some other places that I'm working on getting squared away. So yeah, see, and that's the other thing. It's like I can focus on maybe booking some shows,
Right.
while Alan's doing the music directing type of thing. And
Yes.
that's a symbiotic relationship that I'm completely comfortable with.
It's bands have to have members who take responsibility for certain aspects. Booking and marketing is huge.
pain in the butt.
And then the fact that you can have the songs and mix them and record them, that saves time and money for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's something that's big, but that's something that is tough for bands, because there are some people who I'm just a musician and that's it, and you can't be.
Well, the funny thing is, what springs out of this relationship with me and Alan is also, aside from playing, I don't know, popular pop, meaning the abbreviated word for popular music, define popular, hell, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now Alan and I are working on, because both of us had independently as musicians have always worked on creating dropping beats or creating bumper music and stuff like that for commercial purposes or for licensing. And so aside from the E. Joseph and the Sparrows stuff, now we're working in a totally different headspace, digital headspace, creating, incidental music, bumper music and stuff like that. You being in radio, of course, I
understand what you're saying.
You can either buy it from your music library or that's the other thing. How do musicians make, it's not a naughty thing to say, how do you make a living? How do you earn, if it's avocational, how do you still make money to be able to keep your gear up? And
I think you have to be very creative.
Sure.
In what you guys are doing as far as creating music that you could use for different things, not only for radio, but you've got podcasts out there.
Mm-hmm.
And,
he knows.
And so there's a whole nother, because music licensing is expensive. And to pay for it is very expensive.
Yep.
And people who are doing podcasts are looking for music, but they don't want to spend thousands of dollars for a music license. So that could be another avenue.
And we're happy to have beer money.
Yes.
For you want 30 seconds of Alan's beats? Sure.
Nice. Okay. Guys, it was great hanging with you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I love coming here.
And when you get GloryGram
Volume 3?
Volume 2.
No,
I thought this is Volume 1, right?
It is. And then Alan's concept is there will not be a Volume 2.
There won't be a Volume 2?
No, purely to have this confusing conversation as many
That's
times as
good.
possible.
Okay, because my bald head is now going, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I
Get you
can't
thinking
concept
about
this.
it.
Oh, my God. Okay, so Volume 3.
Yeah.
That's the rumor, at least.
When it's done, come on back.
Thank you. Would love to.
Okay, great. Just a lot of fun hanging with you guys. Best of luck.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And with all your projects, because I know you guys are busy with doing a lot of different things. And we'll talk to you soon. All right, we have our next vidcast is to be determined, because I got to work with Mike's schedule.
Love them.
And other, yes. And you've become busier than me.
He's going on the Pedialyte tour.
Yeah.
I'm test marketing.
Yes. So we'll let you know when our next vidcast is, and this vidcast will be on our homepage on either Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Wrapping things up with the song Conspire from the EP GloryGram. We've been hanging with E. Joseph and the Sparrows on yourlocalnote.com.